Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel, and today we sit down to kick off a week which sees us wrap up the 2023-24 campaign. It's been a weird one. There's been ups, there's been downs, but we now have our sights focused on one final game which could make this season one to remember. The dust has settled on our league title celebrations. One more trophy to go, and we've got a whole lot of conversation building up to that game. So let's start off the week with a bang, shall we? Hello, welcome back. If you haven't already, please make sure to hit like and subscribe. It would be much appreciated. Trying to get towards 50,000 subs by the end of this year. How close can we get? Well, we've got a few months to try and work that out. Jump down below, hit both those buttons. It's absolutely free. I appreciate your support throughout the entire of this campaign. So, one more week to go. Hit those buttons. A weekend to remember at Celtic Football Club. Simply said, the celebrations on Saturday as Celtic lifted their 3-in-a-row Scottish Premiership trophy, and then yesterday as well at Celtic Park as Celtic's women's team managed to get the job done and crown themselves champions of Scotland for the first time in the club's history. A double when it comes to league titles this season. It's never been done before across both the men's and the women's teams. So not only congratulations in order to our men's side, who we've been talking about all week long, but also to the women's side and the job that's been done there. A fantastic, great to see. Celtic Park, lovely turnout for that yesterday. It's so nice, you know, knowing that Celtic just run this city on both sides of the fence, you know, the men's game and the women's game. Absolutely love that. What a time to be a Celtic supporter, eh? If you didn't see, then yesterday Celtic played Hibs in the final game of the women's campaign at Celtic Park, only 24 hours removed from Celtic's success against St Mirren, and Amy Gallagher scored a dramatic late winner in the 89th minute of the game to secure the league title for Celtic. The first time in the club's history we've won the Premiership on the women's side of things. So they've broke that kind of curse, because for a few years it's just seemed a little bit too far out of reach. We've kind of messed it up at the late stages or whatnot. This year, they got it done as professional as you like, and some real good celebrations for those at Celtic Park yesterday. So, yeah, not just the men's side to celebrate and congratulate, and also a big congratulations also has to go out to the women's team, the manager, the players, and everybody involved. Fantastic achievement. Glasgow's green and white. You've got to love it. It's a massive week for Celtic Football Club, as we all know. This Saturday, Celtic head to Hampden Park to take on Rangers one final time this season, and the chance to win the Scottish Cup and make it a double for Celtic this season. Celtic head into the game firm favourites, as we all know, as they should be. Rangers have met us on 4 separate occasions this year, failed to beat us in any. We've only dropped 2 points to Rangers across the 4 league games, and this Saturday obviously a chance to make it a little bit sweeter, the success we've found against them this season. Both teams have the chance of winning a double of some sorts. Of course, Celtic a League and Scottish Cup double, while Rangers looking to win the Cup double with both the League Cup and the Scottish Cup. So a lot on the line, a lot of pressure for both teams, but a game I'm looking forward to a lot. I sadly have not acquired a ticket quite yet. This looks like it might be the first time I'm going to miss Hampden since 2016, which I'm quite gutted about. But listen, we'll get to see what happens anyway. That's the main thing. So a massive week. You know, the celebrations now have to be kind of cut short, don't they? Because it's not done yet. One last hurdle to jump over and to try and make it a season to remember after everything that we've went through, the ups and downs and the doubters and everything else. To go out there and win the double this year would be a great achievement for Brendan Rodgers and this Celtic side, who many wrote off. Now listen, I've seen a lot of conversation about Celtic calling themselves underdogs and all the rest of it, and I've never once at any point thought of Celtic as underdogs this year. If anything, I thought that Brendan Rodgers could have come up the road and won another treble straight away. But you've got to work for things in any division in football. Doesn't matter if you're in Scotland, England, or wherever in the world. You've got to work for your trophies and work for your honours. And Celtic have been having to work extra hard this season. So a double would be a fantastic reflection on the efforts put in by everyone this season, I think. Yeah, we've had our fun this weekend, but hopefully we return to having fun next Saturday after the game against Rangers, and then we get to work on the summer. Everyone's back at Lennoxtown today. One last week of training, one last push. Brendan Rodgers put it very, very well in his post-match speech against St Mirren on Saturday. There'll be a lot of build-up, there'll be a lot of conversation. Of course, we wait for the managers to speak as well to find out our squad updates and all the rest of it. But Celtic are well placed heading into this game, and the week might drag, but it's a weekend I look forward to, I tell you that. In terms of news on this fine Monday afternoon, it's absolutely beautiful outside, by the way, I must say. There hasn't actually been too much. Of course, things a bit quiet as the curtain falls on the Scottish Premiership season and the dust settles from the weekend celebrations. But there is a couple of transfer stories to talk about and some stories relating to players that could be either A, joining Celtic or leaving Celtic. We'll start with the one surrounding Matt O'Reilly, whose name has been, of course, floated with a number of teams in recent months because, well, we all know that he's probably going to be on the move this summer. It's sad to think about, and I don't want to think about a future without Matt O'Reilly, but just like many of the other greats who have walked through the doors at Celtic Park, there comes a day where they have to exit through that same door. Matt O'Reilly in the headlines last night as apparently 3 clubs making it clear they're interested in bringing him in. The Sun of all tabloids has reported that Brighton, Everton and West Ham are in the hunt for a big money chase of Celtic's Matt O'Reilly. Brighton apparently leading the way, with scouts being sent out to watch Matt O'Reilly in our most recent derby match at Celtic Park a few weeks ago. So yeah, not so much news that teams are looking at Matt O'Reilly, but we spoke about this in the stream last night. This was a story that broke on social media over the past couple of days. A journalist with over 130,000 followers reporting that Celtic will be trying their best to negotiate a deal up to the value of £50 million for Matt O'Reilly, which is a staggering number for a club like Celtic. We have never even spoke of a number remotely close to that when our best players have left the club. When Moussa Dembele left, nobody was talking about 50 million. When Odsonne Edouard left, Kieran Tierney left, nobody was even thinking about a number that could rise to a figure like £50 million. But this journalist reporting that Celtic will try and negotiate a deal which could see money up to the value of that, which I don't even know how to react to. If you joined in our stream last night on the channel, you'll know that we spoke about this a little bit, and what I'll say very quickly is do not expect Celtic to land a transfer deal that brings £50 million in for Matt O'Reilly. I think it would be incredibly far-fetched for us to dream of getting that money. However, what I will say is, doesn't mean we shouldn't be trying for that money. I think it's right for Celtic to be going for negotiations that might open as a figure so high, because, well, we see all these countries around the world fleecing the English Premier League for their talents. Why are Celtic not joining in on this? Listen, in no way, in no world is Matt O'Reilly worth £50 million. I don't think many players should be worth £50 million, in all honesty. Nobody playing in Scotland, realistically, is worth that amount. But he's somebody worth £50 million to Celtic, and that's how these things work. He's somebody that's going to be incredibly hard to replace, and one of the most talented players I've seen come through the doors at a football club up here in a long, long time. He's got it all, from ability to character to mentality. This is a guy that has all of it. He's also a homegrown talent for them down south, which adds money onto the price tag. They are desperate for their homegrown talents to meet their quotas. We should be asking for big bucks here, and if that's opening a negotiation at £50 million, good on Celtic for trying to do that. Fleece the bastards for every penny that they've got. Realistically, I think that we'll see something a lot less than that come in for Matt O'Reilly. He will smash the record. I'm confident of that. £25 million we're talking. I think we should be at least expecting 30 million for Matt O'Reilly. If I was being quite honest, I think 30 million is a fair assessment of what we should get for him. But you look at Manchester United paying upwards of £80 million for a player like Anthony from Ajax in the Eredivisie. Anthony's rotten. Couldn't kick his own arse. And they paid £90 million for him. He's not the only player that Ajax have managed to sell. The Eredivisie isn't far off Scotland in terms of the top clubs and what their expectation is. And, they have some really talented players, but they've sold a lot of duds to English sides for a lot of money. Donny van de Beek, Anthony, Tyrell Malacia, Feyenoord. A lot of these players who've left, and that was just Manchester United alone, by the way. A lot of players have left that league. They've not been anything special, but do you know what? Fair play to the Dutch sides going, yeah, we value our players quite highly. We want a lot of money. Celtic should be taking the same sort of attitude towards that. Get as much money as you can for Matt O'Reilly. I think that Brighton have showed in recent years they're willing to pay for these young prospects who can come in and really turn their squad around. I think West Ham have showed especially as well that they are willing to pay a lot of money to bring in the right sort of players. So yeah, absolutely, I think Celtic should be in about trying to make as much profit as they can on the player. It's a great bit of business from us, bringing them in for £1.5 million and selling them on for potentially upwards of £30 million. So we'll just need to watch what happens. But yeah, I know people, non-Celtic fans, will be watching and clicking on this video going, you're after not 50 million for Matt O'Reilly. I don't expect that to happen at all. I don't. But that's what the journalists are saying, that Celtic are going to try and get. And it'll be very entertaining to see what we end up actually getting. So, yeah, Matt O'Reilly, keep an eye on what happens with that one over the next few weeks and months. Wow, I don't want him to go though. I would happily try and raise 50 million through the channel to just keep him, to be quite honest. Because don't go, please. And Celtic have also been linked with yet another goalkeeper. Yes, another one.
Not another one? Oh, for God's sake, I can't honestly.
I mean, that's what, I think we're near 10 now. I think we're nearly at the 10th goalkeeper that's been linked with Celtic since the announcement of Joe Hart's retirement. Journalist, let me get his name right here, sorry, Alan Nixon reported that Celtic are considering a move for former Manchester City goalkeeper and current Burnley number 2, Ari Muric. It was then reported on by The Sun as well. Giving 2 shout-outs to The Sun in this video, painful. But they were the people who'd run with it, the publication that run with it, saying that Celtic are considering a swoop for Burnley shortstopper Ari Muric. The Hoops are on a hunt for a new number 1 with Joe Hart retiring at the end of the season. And Muric has emerged as an option. 25 years old, currently number 2 to Nick Pope at Burnley. He made his breakthrough with Manchester City a few years ago before moving on. Played a number of cup games for Manchester City. He's been at Burnley since 2022 after a number of loan spells at several clubs. He's been there permanently for a number of years. He was their number 1 in the Championship last season, and then of course at the start of this season they signed James Trafford from Bolton, who came in to become the new number 1. So it's looking like he's ready for a move away. Celtic are one of a number of clubs who have apparently looked at the possibility of signing Muric from Burnley. So Celtic not the only club interested, but he's another name that has been thrown in and linked. It seems that the media has him valued at around £10 million. Just another one of these names that I would take with a pinch of salt when it comes to goalkeepers, to be quite honest. He has impressive stats as a goalkeeper, don't get me wrong. I don't necessarily think he's a bad option. I think he looks like a decent keeper. He's been unlucky to be forced out as number 2 at Burnley with the arrival of the young English keeper Trafford. But £10 million for somebody who's been sitting on the bench for the majority of the season. I think he's racked up 9 appearances. When you're hearing about these other goalkeepers we're being linked with who have actually been playing all year and are just as good looking in terms of stats and saves, I would rather go for somebody who's been playing. And we hear that apparently Celtic bidded £7.5 million for Sakir of Trabzonspor in Turkey. Much more attractive option to me than Muric of Burnley. But listen, these names are going to get thrown at us left, right and centre, as they already have for the past few months. So it's just another one to watch out for, and I'll keep you updated as it goes. Right then, that'll do it for today. If you've enjoyed, make sure to hit like and subscribe. Just a kind of quick, sharp bulletin for your Monday video to kick off the week. Hopefully we get a lot of nice stories to talk about in the build up to that cup final on Saturday. So if you enjoyed, please make sure to hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.